That was beautiful. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? Yes? Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. And welcome to this celebration of life for our dear Nate Ginsburg. I'm Reverend Marjorie Matthews, and I serve as the pastor of Plymouth Church in Oakland, known to many of us as the Jazz and Justice Church. Nate was a very dear friend of our church, was introduced to our church by David Sturdivant, our music director, and Nate became a frequent guest musician at our church, and he blessed us each and every Sunday that he joined us to play piano and or organ. So our congregation joins all of you, Nate's family and friends, Nate's fellow musicians, Mr. Nate's music students and their families. We join all of you in profound grief at his passing and in profound gratitude for his beautiful life. Let's see if I can adjust this, you all. There we go. So in just a moment, I'm going to offer a brief opening prayer to help lead us into this time. But before I do that, I want to ask all of you a favor. Does anyone happen to have a thing called a cell phone or a smartphone? Raise your hand if you have one of those. Oh, well, that's just about all of us, isn't it? So if you are in possession of such a thing, I would ask you to turn it off or put it on airplane mode and just tuck it away, silence it. The family has respectfully requested that we put our mobile devices away and that we not live stream any portion of the service or take photos or videos and put them on social media while we're gathered here today. So let me give everyone a chance to do that. Have we all put those devices away? Okay. And now, I invite you to take a moment and just look around at who is gathered here today. Look around at the faces of Nate's dear ones. Take a moment and look around at the beauty of this theater and at this beautiful display here on the stage. Let all of that settle into your heart. And we're going to join our hearts in prayer now, and you can do whatever it is you like to do when you pray. If you want to close your eyes or bow your head, if you want to put a gentle hand on yourself, or if you want to keep your eyes open and just continue to take all this in. But let's join our hearts in prayer. Holy One, Creator God, we thank you for making Nate Ginsburg. We thank you, God, for his shining spirit, for his infectious smile, for his tremendous goodness, for his lavish musical gifts, for the countless ways he blessed all our lives. We ask, oh God, that you draw near to us this day, that your spirit move among us, that you grant to each of us the comfort and encouragement we need as we grieve. We ask that you draw near to Nate's wife, Sherry, and their son, Jordan, and to all Nate's family in a special way. We trust and believe that there is life beyond this life. And in that blessed place of life beyond this life, our beloved Nate is doing what he loves most, making music. And the heavenly band sounds all the sweeter because Nate is there. With this prayer in our hearts, we join our voices and together we say amen. You don't have to be timid about it. Amen. 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 Amen.
My dad loved the outdoors, and it's where many of our fondest memories were made. And one of his favorite conservationists, John Muir, wrote, "The sun shines not on us, but in us. The rivers flow not past, but through us, thrilling, tingling, vibrating every fiber and cell of the substance of our bodies, making them glide and sing. The trees wave and the flowers bloom in our bodies as well as our souls, and every bird song, wind song, and tremendous storm song of the rocks in the heart of the mountains is our song, our very own, and sings our love."
My brother Nate was born one sweltering July day, 1954. He was a sixth and the last of the Ginsburg clan, and my fifth brother. And though my mother birthed him, it wasn't long before I felt like he was my little baby. Soon he became the shining star of our family, and even as a little one, his smile was infectious. Nathan Caston was named after our paternal grandfather, and Caston was our mother's maiden name. He came home to an already busy household with siblings, Philip, David, Alan, and me, Suzi. Our oldest brother, Bob, had recently been discharged from the Navy. He married our forever sister-in-law, Joanne, and never moved to Fresno with us. As the years moved on, we each had a hand in taking care of Nate. For me, he would follow me to my friends' homes, the local grocery store, and to the plunge, even to the ditch bank at the end of our block, where we'd catch pollywogs and frogs. Later, when I got into high school, he was around 8 years old. He'd wear a white shirt and sit in the spirit section during football games. He loved cheering along with the high schoolers. As with many big families, camping was our vacations. We had a small aluminum boat that we took to local lakes. I can still picture the time the boat got away from my older brothers, and Nate was in it. He had no oars, and away it floated, when suddenly all of the brothers dove in the water at once and swam out to get him and the boat. We also took many camping trips in the Volkswagen bus to Big Sur, to Pismo, and Yosemite. A particularly fond remembrance was he and my dad, our dad, bobbing the waves with clam forks in hand, always competing to see who could find the biggest clam for Mom's delicious clam chowder. And speaking of the family Volkswagen bus, something I didn't know until this summer when Nate told me, is that he rode the Volkswagen bus. I always wondered what happened to it. I was gone by then. When I worked in Yosemite, he, as a young teen, would come and stay enjoying the sights while I worked. After I got off, he would act as my dude magnet, talking to everyone, friendly and inquisitive, and always, always curious. There were many early fond family memories, and it was hard to choose which ones to tell you today. But now, our brother David.
Good afternoon. I have two stories to tell you about Nate, and then I'm going to read an article from the paper. First one involves swimming. Back when he wasn't Mr. Nate, when he was Little Natey, which is a name that after he grew up, he didn't like me calling him anymore. You can understand, huh? So anyway, during the summer of, he was a toddler, so I don't know, maybe 56 or 57. We used to take him to the pool at Airways in Fresno, and we were going to teach him how to swim. So I'm going to blame Phil for this one. I think it was his idea. We used to drop him off the board, the high board. Now here he was, a toddler, and he would Alan would take him and drop him, and Phil and I would be in the water and drop him off, and you could imagine what the lifeguards were thinking. But anyway, we'd drop him off the water, and he would come popping up laughing. He thought that was the funniest thing he'd ever done. And then he would swim to the side, and he learned how to swim in a quick hurry. The other story I have involves this piano. In 1961, I was coming back from training in the Air Force on leave on my way overseas, and Nate was taking piano lessons from Mrs. O. And the only problem that he had was he didn't have a piano. And so his mom, managed to finagle me into buying him a piano. So out of my, what was it, $30 a month? No, 3 times that. But I got to buy him a piano from this piano store. And the deal that I had with him was that he would practice every day. And he said he would, no problem. 7-year-old kid, right? Getting a promise from him. Anyway, I understand that he practiced, and then pretty soon he was composing his own songs. And he was doing that when he was supposed to be practicing, but we all know what it led to, don't we? And wasn't it great? I'm supposed to read this article. Are we up there yet? There we are. It says, Clovis student composes music. This is when Nate was 16 years old. When Nathan Ginsburg gets an invitation to a party, he is never quite sure if he's going to be just a regular guest or end up at the piano or organ all night. In fact, last week I went to a party, and before the night was over, I was playing the piano, the 16-year-old Clovis High School junior said. Nathan will be at the piano tomorrow afternoon in the convention center as a performer in the Teens Terrific Talent Show. The two numbers Nate will play are original compositions. He was always writing, wasn't he? I compose all of my music. I learned by experimenting and just working with chords. I guess I've written 25 or 30 numbers. I don't write words in the music, though. I'm not very good at that. Nathan, a member of the Musician Union, plays frequently in rock bands and performs on the electric organ. He prefers playing jazz. He has studied piano privately for 6 years. Actually, by that time, he was about 9 years, and plans to major in music in college and minor in biological science. I like backpacking and hiking in general. I might be interested in forestry too, he said. Vice president of the school's choir, Nate likes to sing and make pottery. He is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Abe Ginsburg of Clovis. This is a celebration of life. Nobody celebrated life more than Nate.
Nate was a handsome guy, a lot like his brothers. And I'm the oldest brother. My name's Phil. I wanted to relate a couple of stories about Nate. When I was, I guess, a senior in college, going to my last year, Nate was about 11, 12 years old, and I like to take my kids over to visit their grandma in the morning on Saturday, Sunday. Of course, do a little bonding and have a few hotcakes. And one of the things that I would do was I would ask Nate where he was in relation to his songbook, how he was doing in his lessons. And I would try to go back through his songbook and make a little X, 4 or 5 songs down. And I'd say, well, if you could get that song down by the next time I come over, I'll give you $5. And then this went on for a couple of years. I'd give him $5 for every song that he learned. And I'd go back to the songbook and go back 4 or 5 pages and make a little X so I knew where I was when he came back, when I came back to see him. And over a period of time, this was about 55 years ago, over a period of time, I would have liked to have that money invested by now. And most of the time he managed to learn those tunes. And at the same time, he was doing a little bit of composing. And I can't remember how many tunes he composed, but there were two in particular that he did that kind of stuck with the family. One of them was called George Ginsburg, and the other one we called Monarch. And when part of the family came up to San Francisco for the Summer of Love celebrations, he came out to pick us up, and we were at the Daughters of the Golden West clubhouse, and there was a piano in the room when he came to pick us up, and he sat down at the piano, and believe it or not, he played those two first compositions from the time that he was 11 or 12 years old. And my sister managed to do a little video of those, and I think we're gonna get to hear them today. And it's George Ginsburg and Monarch. And I just want to say goodbye, Nate. The last one?
When I say the name, he'll go, oh yeah! George Ginsburg. You don't remember that?
No.
Oh, it's too far.
When
back.
did we write that one?
No, we didn't write it. I wrote it when I was like 12.
Oh,
And then here's the other one. Remember this one?
that one. David's favorite.
David's favorite.
My favorite.
Okay, so
Well, it's me again. Nate loved his families, and his families, the Ginsburgs and the Contis, adored him. Our mom and dad loved going to Nate's gigs near and far. One fun remembrance was when Nate was opening at the Red Lion Inn in Modesto. Mom and I wanted to see him, but he wasn't sure if they'd let us in since it was a private event. Then he had an idea and said, just tell them you're with the band. They'll let you in. Mom got the biggest kick out of that. She said it over and over on our trip to Modesto, I'm with the band, and then would laugh. I started my big Sunday before Thanksgiving tradition around 1994. Even though it wasn't always easy for Nate and Sherry to come, it was the Ginsburg family reunion they barely missed. With kids running amok, traditional turkey, yummy desserts, and Nate bringing his keyboards for a grateful good time. In October of this last year, we had a Ginsburg sibling reunion at Nate and Sherry's cabin. It was filled with lots of love and laughter and was a very special time for all of us. At Shaver Lake with Sherry's family, Uncle Nate has always been the fun uncle, which made him a fan favorite among the children at every gathering. Some of their favorite memories are, in his young uncle days, he would bring childlike joy with silly propositions like, who wants to jump on the bed? And let's ride on the edge of a shopping cart. Really? He never turned down a request to play the horse or dog when little kids wanted to ride on his back. Even in his great-uncle days, he didn't lose sight of meeting the children at their level. He was the first to build a snowman and sled down the hills with the kids, even if all they had was a cardboard box. And he was the first up for the hike or night walk among the stars, making sure he was never left behind. He never failed to participate in game nights, and of course, would never let you win. He could always, he could always give a master class in cornhole, horseshoes, or darts. He set the tone of every Christmas with the most cheerful Christmas caroling, wearing silly hats and encouraging the kids to dance and sing. He even made sure we understood the meaning of Hanukkah, honoring his Jewish roots with traditional stories after eating fresh latkes. We will miss his enthusiasm for big family meals around the dinner table, how he always thanked the chefs, and of course, his contribution of smoked meat from the Traeger that was second to none. He was always present and engaged, taking advantage of every opportunity for quality time. We didn't realize at the time the lesson he was teaching us about the value of family, making memories together, and living life to the fullest. The depth of heart and contagious joy of Uncle Nate will remain interwoven into the thread of our family fabric forever. Yes, Nate knew the secret. He knew the secret of a joyful life. Lucky for us, he shared that secret with Sherry. Nate gave life meaning. He made life worthwhile and encouraged us to do the same. Well, glad that's over. And as I mentioned earlier, holiday caroling was a tradition at all the family gatherings. And here's a little glimpse of how much fun it was with Uncle Nate.
Sing, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, louder, had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeers used to laugh and call him names like Pinocchio. They never let jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey! Hey, 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 hey. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Want a hippopotamus for dear. No crocodiles or rhinoceroses. I only like hippopotamuses, and hippopotamuses like me too.
I have the honor of reading a letter that Sherry has written to her beloved Nate. So I invite all of us to hear now these words of love. Dear Nate, my soulmate, it's hard to believe that we're here today celebrating your amazing life. I think back to the day we met. I came up to visit my brother, Victor, who was playing with you in Baby Fat at the Keystone Palo Alto. You were a hot musician and the youngest member of the band, and I was the cute little sister. There was an instant attraction, and our love story began. We carried on a long-distance relationship for a while, and then you asked me to move closer so we could see if our relationship would make it. Not only did we make it, but we had an incredible, loving relationship of over 44 years together. One of the best days of my life was on September 29th, 1979, when we were married on a hornblower yacht in the San Francisco Bay. It was a beautiful day with our close family and friends by our side, just as they are here again today with us. You were a professional musician, and I was a retail manager. We both worked hard, and it often meant being away from each other when you would go out on tours. But we always said, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and our love for each other persevered. After focusing on our careers for many years, we finally decided to start our family. Jordan's arrival on January 19th, 1993 was life-changing for us in the best way possible. You decided that being home for his upbringing was your priority, so you stopped touring. Of course, you still played and recorded music locally, as your talent and love for music were undeniable. I couldn't be more proud of how you combined your passion for music with your love for children to create a second career as a teacher, eventually opening your own music school, Mr. Nate's Adventures in Music. Thank you for your dedication as a teacher and all you did to share the gift of music and enrich the lives of children. Thank you for being a wonderful father to Jordan, always being present to guide and nurture him. Thank you for being the heart and soul of our family, creating so many wonderful traditions that will be carried on. Thank you for sharing so much love and joy through music. You were always the life of the party, and your infectious personality and beautiful smile will always be remembered. Thank you for being the love of my life and always being so romantic, fun, and caring. I miss you every moment of every day and will always cherish our amazing, adventurous life together. You will be in my heart forever, and I promise to keep your legacy alive. I love you a million, and I know you're saying, I love you more. You're truly the best thing that ever happened to me. Love, Sherry.
So, as is true for a lot of people here today, Nate and I would support our musical dreams by doing a lot of weddings. And there's sometimes nothing quite so cynical about love songs as a wedding musician. But when we would do this next song, which occasionally brides would request. I always loved it. The first couple times that we played it, Nate got very quiet, and I realized he was kind of choked up. I said, "What's going on with you?" And he said, "It just makes me want to go home and see Sherry." I loved you so much. There wasn't a cynical bone in Nate's body, I tell you. Here we go. There's another 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had my share of life's ups and downs, but fate's been kind, and the down times have been for you. Well, I guess you could say that I've been lucky. Well, I guess you could say, and it's all because of you. Whoa, if anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason, there might be, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory, 'cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Well, there have been times when times were hard. Because with every moment that I spent worrying, there was a moment that I spent just loving you. Whoa, if anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory. Whoa, 'cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Good afternoon, everyone. Wow, that was a hard act to follow there. My name is Nancy Wenstrom Catania, and I am speaking on behalf of Jordan today, and I want to thank you for asking me to do this. It's such an honor. Thank you, Jordan. I met Nate in Zazu Pitts Memorial Orchestra when I played with him in that band, and we played in several other groups too. One was called Joyful Noise Trio, which he definitely made a joyful noise. We were so happy when we learned about Nate and Sherry going to have a baby, and we hosted a baby shower, my husband and I, and I met Jordan when he was in the hospital when he was born, so I've known him a long time. And our young kids grew up together. Later in the Scouts, I was Jordan's physical fitness merit badge counselor, and I was honored to be the only substitute teacher Nate ever allowed to teach his students, according to Sherry. So that was quite an honor. Of course, they always wanted Mr. Nate. Where's Mr. Nate, you know? He was very present and involved. As we all know, he was a full-time touring musician, but he was also a full-time stay-at-home dad. He was a classroom parent at Little Hands, a music teacher at Mary Moppet Preschool and Belmont Oaks Academy. He was very involved in the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. He was a Cub Scout Pack 61 leader, Pinewood Derby car engineer. They took first place. That's a big deal. Den 6 leader, half of his patrol went on to be Eagle Scouts, and Troop 321 advisor. Nate was also a home chef and party host extraordinaire, preparing countless home-cooked meals, including original recipes. He instilled a love of cooking and food and sharing it with friends and family. In the music and the arts, of course, he taught piano to Jordan from the time he could walk. And then he was a band leader and jazz mentor for Jordan's high school band, Jazz Down Low, who recorded an album, including Watermelon Man, which he obviously knew well, having played it on tour with Herbie Hancock. And he was also an actor in the community stage productions The Wiz, The Music Man, and Tom Sawyer. Nate also, of course, as we all know, had a great appreciation for the outdoors, and he loved camping, backpacking, hiking, and fishing, and they went to Shaver Lake for Christmases, holidays, Thanksgivings, Ward Lake, backpacking from Florence Lake to the border of the John Muir and Sierra National Forests, and the Pacific Crest Trail, Pack 61 summer camp trips, and the Troop 321 summer camp trips at Royane and Asia Ojeto. Double H High Adventure Base in New Mexico, one of our troops' unique backpacking adventures. Jordan exclaimed on this. And the Philmont Scout Ranch, New Mexico, hiking 100 plus miles in the southern Rocky Mountains. That's a lot of hiking. And Yosemite, where his family camped. And they also backpacked from Tuolumne Meadows to the Main Valley, climbing to the top of Half Dome along the way. Wow. They did a lot of their training and conditioning for this at Water Dog Lake in Belmont. The family also did international travel to Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Galapagos Islands cruise, Peru and Machu Picchu, Australia, and New Zealand, visiting during Jordan's internship abroad. The traditions they celebrated, of course, were very important to Nate and Jordan and Sherry. Hanukkah, Christmas, picking out and decorating a Christmas tree at Shaver Lake, Thanksgiving, with both families' Ginsburg holiday party, where he led caroling, and as we saw, an annual Father's Day meal prepared by his sons Jordan and Cole. And so now please enjoy this beautiful song that Jordan picked out for his dad by Keith Urban, where Nate took Jordan to his very first concert.
Lately I've been noticing I say the same things he used to say, and I even find myself acting the very same way. I tap my fingers on the table to the rhythm in my soul, and I jingle the car keys when I'm ready to go. When I look in the mirror, he's right there in my eyes, staring back at me. And I realize the older I get, the more I can see how much he loved my mother and my brother and me. And he did the best that he could, and I only hope when I have my own family that every day I see a little more of my father and me. There were times I thought he was being just a little bit hard on me, but now I understand he was making me become the man he knew that I could be. In everything he ever did, he always did with love. And I'm proud today to say I'm his son. When somebody says, I hope I get to meet your dad, I just smile and say, you already have. The older I get, the more I can see how much he loved my mother and my brother and me. And he did the best that he could, and I only hope when I have my own family that every day I see a little more of my father in me. He's in my eyes, my heart, my soul, my hands, my pride. And when I feel alone and I think I can't go on, I hear him sing, son, you'll be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Yes, it is. The older I get, the more I can see that he loved my mother and my brother and me. And he did the best that he could, and I only hope when I have my own family every day I'll see. Oh, I hope I see. I hope every day I see a little more of my father and me. Yeah, a little more of my father in me. I hope every day I see in me, in me, in me. I hope every day I see a little more of my father in me.
Good afternoon. Ginsburgs, Contis, friends. Nate Ginsburg, God bless his soul. He was fun to be around, fun to be with. Always a pun or a joke coming or going. Everywhere you went with Nate, you'd run into an old friend or a friend in the making. And any others? Left in amazement by the Pied Piper, the merry melody maker on the melodica, gifting everybody his music. A lot of friends. Lifelong friends are here from Tarpey Elementary and Clovis High School. Friends who were in his high school plays and with Nate and helped vote him in as senior class president, valedictorian that he was. Friends from his early travels right out of high school to Minnesota and Alaska and Mexico. I've known Nate since he was in the 7th grade. But my story from the old days comes just a little bit later. When he first moved up to the Bay, he'd invite you up to visit, but we understood it was never just to hang out. He had his exercises to get through every day for several hours. You'd find something to read, something to do before he could go out and have some fun or head to his gig. If we had to make a trip to the store, he'd pop a cassette into the van's tape deck and practice his singing lessons on the way, not wasting any precious time. You don't mind, do you? No, Nate, I don't mind. La 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 la. We'd be driving down the road. I've got to be me. I've got to be me. Seriously, I look back and realize, besides my wife's love and our children, that may have been the greatest gift I've ever received. Nate showing me what discipline looked like. I thanked him many a time for that. Being the lifelong learner that he was, Nate loved his history book club and the friends he made there. You in the book club know from your discussions with him how he digested a book, how he made learning the stories fun and exciting and always meaningful. He loved that whole process. Finding people who wanted to do that with him was like a dream come true for Nate. He really appreciated you. And what turned out to be his last road trip with a friend, we went to visit the home, now State Park and Museum of the Titan we'd been reading about and admired, John Muir. He marveled at Muir's library, how these books, these stories had helped shape his wisdom and coupled with his love of nature moved this mountain of a man to work so tirelessly to save our native wild lands. He was so taken that one man could affect so many others. I think he knew something about that. These are stories, or there are stories that teach and empower and stories that enrich. I know this story. If you were friends with Nate Ginsburg, you were greatly enriched. A lot of you friends remember Nate and Sherry's annual Christmas parties. He'd pass out the lyrics to all the Christmas songs and anchor down at the Baby Grand and take us on the merriest indoor sleigh ride imaginable. He took making it merry and bright very seriously. Here's a clip.
What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Jingle up, jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock. Mix and mingle and jingle their beat. That's the Jingle Bell Rock.
do this without friends. Go, two verses. One, two, one, two, three, four. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand, and nothing, oh nothing, nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me. Soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. Sing it with us. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Oh, don't you know that winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be right there. You've got a friend. If the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, you just keep your head together and call my name out loud, and soon you'll hear me knocking upon your door. Ooh, you just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yeah. You've got a friend. Ain't it good to know that you have got a friend? People can be so cold, they may hurt you and desert you. Lord, they could take your soul if you let them. Yeah, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Come on, help us sing a song. You know it. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be right there. You've got a friend. Put your hands together. You've got a friend. Oh, if you need me, you can call me. You've got a friend. You got a friend in me. You got a friend. Oh, you know I'll always be there. You've got a friend. You got a friend. If you need me, you can call my name. I'll be right there forever at your side. Oh, you got a friend. Every day. You got a friend. You got a friend in me. You've got a friend.
Talk about a hard act to follow, okay. So full of life, a comment, a sentiment shared by all who knew him. Nate loved life in general and travel in particular. His joie de vivre was on full display whenever, wherever he stood, whether on the road playing gigs or just playing on the road. Nate was always excited to make new friends everywhere he went. His Spanish was good, and his Italian was good enough. Here's a partial list of the many places he visited: Italy, France, Denmark, London, Machu Picchu, the Galapagos Islands, New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, Banff, an Alaskan cruise where he won the talent competition, of course, plus extensive travel throughout the US, including gigs at Carnegie Hall, the Hollywood Bowl, and the Red Rocks Amphitheater. To travel with Nate and Sherry and experience firsthand Nate at his most engaged and excited self is something Rosemary and I will never forget. In 2000, we threw a big birthday party for Rosemary in the town of Bellagio on Lake Como. Nate and Sherry joined our group of 13 and enjoyed a 7-course meal at the Hotel du Lac. After the party, we all went our separate ways for 2 weeks and then met up on Easter Sunday in the southern Tuscan hill town of Cortona. After climbing to the top of the old fortress, we all rested along the walls when magically Nate produced his ever-present melodica and began playing numerous Italian songs and Italian-sounding songs. We have the pictures to show the state of Nate playing, his soulful concentration and his knack for being totally in the present. In 2018, Nate and Sherry joined us for an unforgettable trip to Cuba. Led by a renowned percussionist and tour leader, we spent time immersing ourselves in the sights and sounds of Havana and other notable cities. Everywhere we went, there was a constant presence of high-quality musicians and fine artists. The other constant was Nate, with his exuberance and excitement, adding to the overall experience. Of course, Nate's melodica was always in his bag, and he sat in with practically every musician and band that crossed his path. Nate was our own cultural ambassador, spreading his own brand of goodwill and genuine interest in speaking with and hanging out as only Nate could do. Once we were taught about the rumba and folk dances and traditions that accompanied the Yoruba Cuban culture, most notably the vacuna. Nate became the crafty rooster trying to vaccinate with subtle movement the hens, the women, to hilarious effect. From then on, no cracking up at the from then on, no hens were safe from Nate's crazy moves. Everyone involved was cracking up at the gringo's modern dance interpretation. Unforgettable. We all have the memories, photos, and videos of our travel adventures with Nate, and we are also grateful to have spent time together in faraway places. No matter what travel adventures are in the future, we will all miss Nate and his lust for life. And now, here's a video of Nate playing his ever-present melodica.
Music is everywhere.
So there's a guy on the third floor and he's got like a rope with a bag that's down the street, like I said, stuff out.
Woo!
Well, it was always a joy playing music with Nate. I'm really, really going to miss that. I've got a million stories of being on the road with Nate, but I'm not going to tell any of them. That's just the way it is. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things that I may never see again. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway. We're the best of friends, insisting that the world keep turning our way. And our way is on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again, like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway. We're the best of friends, insisting that the world keep turning our way. And our way is on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. And I can't wait to get on the road again.
Mr. Nate combined his passion for music and love for children to develop a unique and highly valued music teaching program, serving Bay Area students for over 25 years. He serviced numerous preschools and elementary schools such as Serendipity, Roberts School, and Belmont Oaks Academy, and established his own music studio, Mr. Nate's Adventures in Music. Although he never advertised, his business blew up by word of mouth. Mr. Nate taught over 100 students per week, including popular summer programs that had more demand than he could fill. He could hardly go anywhere in the Bay Area without being spotted by a student. Mr. Nate made music fun, with a desirable balance of work and play. Well beyond teaching sheet music, Mr. Nate instilled a deep understanding of music, from simple percussion to wind instruments to chord progressions, inversions, and how to create and compose music to make it your own. He taught the students to collaborate, how to operate as a band, listen for timing, and work together, all the while incorporating dance, games, prizes, snow cones, and even water gun competitions. He also taught the students the value of stage presence, planning consistent recitals and practicing performance techniques, including voice projection, eye contact, and how to give a proper handshake. He reminded the students that these were skills that would help them in every aspect of their lives, well beyond their journey in music. If you were at the Hillsdale Mall during Christmas time over the last 25 years, you probably saw him showcasing his students who performed holiday pieces before the masses. Mr. Nate was incredibly proud of every one of his students, a number of whom went on to be professional musicians themselves. Take a moment to watch this video showcasing his contagious joy, pride, and enthusiasm in his music program that was so near and dear to his heart.
I told her too, she's about the most advanced first grader I've ever had. She is such a sweet girl too. I just love teaching her. Let's give her a hand. Michelle Carson.
Hi, my name is Michelle Carson, and I will be playing Flying My Kite.
She's a very sweet girl and loves to practice. Her name, Cadence Poles. Give her a nice round of applause.
Hello, my name is Cadence Poles, and I will be playing Let You Go.
You don't even know how great it is to have your family taking music from you and joining the family of music. Her name is Violet Conti Martinez. Give her a nice round of applause, please.
Go Violet! Hello, my name is Violet Conti Martinez, and I will be playing Jolly Old St. Nicholas.
We are the Rainbow Chameleons.
And we will be performing Sea Cruise.
Hello there, I'm Gavin Carlson. I'm a longtime student of Mr. Nate, and he'd be pretty upset with how I started this because as you saw in all the videos, he'd want us to go, hello, my name is Gavin Carlson, and I'll be talking about my relationship with Mr. Nate. Mr. Nate first entered my life when I was 4 years old. He was the teacher at my preschool. After a holiday performance, he approached my parents, said he saw something in me, and asked if he could teach me how to play piano. For the next decade, Mr. Nate not only taught me about chords and scales, he became my earliest mentor and an honorary member of my family. It's no secret Mr. Nate loved his students. He'd often use a rope of licorice or a powdered donut after a practice or recital to show you that. But as one of his longest tenured pianists, I got to see how special a man Mr. Nate was outside of his piano lessons. I shifted to private lessons around the 5th grade, and I can't count the number of times my ride would be left waiting on the driveway 15 minutes past the hour because Mr. Nate and I had spent too much time just talking prior to the lesson even beginning. He would tell me stories from his prime years as a musician and give me musical advice. But he'd also constantly check in on my many other endeavors. We'd talk about the Warriors, we'd talk about the Giants. But I wouldn't tell my parents, though, because that's not what they were paying for. He always taught me about the importance of respect and finding joy in everything you do. And a few times his eyes would begin to water the way mine have this entire service because our relationship was that special. Other than my family, there's nobody I'd known for longer and would see so regularly. I'll never forget those one-on-one moments. I'll never forget the weekly lessons, a handful of students nervously practicing on keyboards with headphones on until Mr. Nate came by for your weekly checkup. And yet no matter how nervous I might have been, Mr. Nate always erased the fears with his positive energy and that iconic Mr. Nate smile. You all know that smile. I'll never forget the recitals, the verbal introductions he made us say, the crowded fold-up chairs in his basement, the Halloween costumes, the Christmas recitals at the mall. It all taught me about hard work and its rewards. A childhood can feel like a blur once you become an adult. All the sports teams and elementary school classes certainly do to me. But Mr. Nate always sprinkled some added fun and hidden life lessons. And for that reason, my memories with him will never be forgotten. In many ways, Mr. Nate was my childhood. When I learned of Mr. Nate's passing, I was of course heartbroken. There were too many amazing childhood memories and life lessons to prevent the tears from coming out. But I also knew I had to immediately call my parents because Mr. Nate was family to all of us, not just me. He welcomed my parents, grandparents, and aunt into his basement for every recital, and he even played music and attended my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary. I laughed because when I looked around at that party, he might have been the only guest who hadn't known the family for decades. But it showed how little time Mr. Nate needed to become a loved part of your family. Now, I'm sure I'm probably over time, but I have to leave with my last great memory of Mr. Nate. He was performing a gig at Angelica's. My parents and I attended, and after word got out during an intermission that one of his oldest students was in the crowd, I somehow found myself up on the stage and playing the piano. When I went home to watch the video recording of my spontaneous performance, I wanted to hear how I sounded, but instead I noticed the look on Mr. Nate's face more than anything else. He stood there, his eyes focused on my whole performance with a smile on his face, and you could just see how proud he was. It wasn't an ordinary proud teacher face, it was a proud family member face, maybe even a proud father face. As you all know, Mr. Nate cared that much about the people he loved, and he was loved because of it. Thank you.
When Gavin attended one of Mr. Nate's CD release parties and Mr. Nate invited him up to play spontaneously in front of the crowd, he took that video because he was so proud of Gavin. Not only did Mr. Nate cherish his students with incredible pride, but as you can see from the plethora of artwork and thank you notes in the lobby, they cherished him back. I'd like to read a quick note from a special student who happens to be here today to perform for us. His name is Ojesia. Dear Mr. Nate, thank you for being such a nice teacher and teaching me so much piano. I appreciate how you make so many good jokes and explain everything about the homework that is hard to understand. You are one of the nicest teachers I've met. You rock the piano. You are the best. Sincerely, your student, Ojesia. Please help me welcome Ojesia to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ojesia, and today I will be playing Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. This is one of the last pieces that Mr. Nate taught me. Thank you.
Not only did I have the honor of knowing Nate as Mr. Nate, but he's also my Uncle Nate. He passed on invaluable lessons for my children and me, shaping who we are for the better. Uncle Nate knew when to rest and when to play. Family time is the best time. Be fully present. Laughter is the best medicine. Never miss a good adventure. Work hard at things and never quit when it gets hard. The best part is on the other side of the hump. Roll through your mistakes and don't let them weigh you down. Find your passion and live in it. Every time he introduced his nieces and nephews at their recitals, he said, "It is so special to teach my family." And he always thanked me personally for making sure all the cousins could come for piano camp, got there on time, and practiced every day, the same number of times as their age, of course. He reminded me almost weekly that my commitment to encouraging them to work through the hard things would impact them forever. I hope that remains true in his honor. On that note, I would like to welcome up my oldest daughter, who has developed such a strong passion for music from Uncle Nate's influence that she has written and published several of her own songs and plays in worship bands on a weekly basis. She's going to play a song that Uncle Nate helped write a custom version of for her to perform in the 8th grade, at which time we had no idea the lyrics would be so perfect for today. Please help me welcome my daughter, Abigail Eckhart.
Always knew this day would come. We'd be standing one by one with the future in our hands. So many dreams, so many plans. Always knew after all these years there'd be laughter, there'd be tears, but never thought that I'd walk away with so much joy and so much pain. And it's so hard to say goodbye, but yesterday's gone, we gotta keep moving on. I'm so thankful for the moments, so glad I got to know you. The times that we had, I'll keep like a photograph and hold you in my heart forever. I'll always remember you. Another chapter in the book. Can't go back, but you can look. And there we are on every page. Memories I'll always save. Up ahead on the open doors. I don't know what you're heading towards. I wish you love and I wish you luck for the gates that opened up. And it's so hard to say goodbye, but yesterday's gone, we gotta keep moving on. I'm so thankful for the moments, so glad I got to know you. The times that we had, I'll keep like a photograph and hold you in my heart forever. I'll always remember you. Every day that we had, all the good, all the bad, I'll keep them here inside. Every time that we shared, every place, everywhere, you touched my life. Yeah, one day I'll look back, I'll smile and I'll laugh, but right now I just cry, 'cause it's so hard to say goodbye. But yesterday's gone, we gotta keep moving on. I'm so thankful for the moments, so glad I got to know you. The times that we had, I'll keep like a photograph and hold you in my heart forever. I'll always remember you.
Well, Nate,
are. We didn't want to be here for this, anything like this. Particularly musicians who have ever worked with you, played with you over the years. You know, when you're a musician and someone leaves us, we lose not just a friend, but we lose an important part of what we are as musicians and what we do, how we improvise, play tunes together, and get in that zone. And you always put us in that zone, and that's why we all keep doing it. Playing with you, Nate, was a joyful experience. Your sense of humor, your high energy on a live gig was like nothing else. And your overall mensch behavior was really there. Okay, so I'm not done talking to you, Nate. Now I'm going to talk about other stuff. My relationship with Nate was full circle. I'm from Fresno. I knew him when he was a young musician starting out, really young. There was this whole group, this kind of age of players, and he was with that. He and I played a couple of crap gigs in Fresno at some terrible nightclubs when we were very young and not very good. And then I went off and started working with the Wild Blue, and then he did gigs with local groups, good local groups, funky local groups. And his great Fresno players escaped the flypaper of Fresno and made it to the Bay Area. He played with the best bands there, like always, and eventually worked with two legends who changed the very direction of funk bass playing, Larry Graham, and keyboard, jazz, and funk with Herbie Hancock. Who gets to do that in their life, you know? I mean, really. You know, he put a lot of other keyboard players out of work because it wasn't so much that he was at the right place, the right time. He was just the right guy, and a pleasure to play with. As most of us do, when we have a family, you got to try to play, work local. And with that, Nate developed a school of music for kids while still playing a lot of music with many great artists. We, with the Blue, were fortunate enough to be able to grab Nate for our very light touring schedule, which was like a gig a year. What he did for us was give us a serious new layer of virtuosity, which made every performance electric, and our last recording, the bucket list we always had dreamed of. And so, the full circle. We don't like seeing our brothers and sisters in music leave. It's happening too often nowadays. Nate, we all hope your spirit is somewhere still laughing, still playing. And we will always try to be there for your family.
With Larry Graham and Graham Central Station. Larry, you still got one of the funkiest right thumbs in the business.
Well, thank you.
Do you remember how far back you started thumping your bass?
Yeah. My mother and I worked together for about 5 years before I joined up with Sly and the Family Stone. And that's why I developed my thumping and plucking style, see. So then when Sly came down into the club where we were performing, he checked me out and said, yeah, I think I better add that to my group, add a little bottom to the group. See? And that was the beginning of it. Of course, my style that I developed got popular with Sly and the Family Stone because during that time before then, it was kind of like just a weird way of playing, But then, of course, the technique got better and other people started doing it. And the more people started doing it, the more I was exposed doing it. It got popular. So now it's the thing.
Let's introduce everybody. I understand you have some new people.
Okay, on Oregon, of course, who has been with me from Jump Street, it's Robert Sound. We call him Butch. And then on guitar, we have a new member of the group. It's Jimmy Taylor. He's from down here in Los Angeles, see. And we have Gaylord Smash and Bash and Flash Birch on drums. And then we have another new member, of course, my wife, Tina, who sings my radio show, It Sounds Good to Me. And she's a new member to the group. And she also plays funk box, this little instrument right here. We have Nathan Ginsburg, and he's our keyboard man, synthesizers and all those things. And then me.
I got you. I caught you with your phone down. I got you. And someone told the whole town. You should try your best to keep your phone getting rest. Next time won't catch you. You get someone else too. tomorrow night. When you kiss her, you can see this love light in her eyes. A light that shines for you in the night. She loves the girls, and she's a three-headed woman.
Bayou Chevrolet, Bayou Chevrolet, Bayou Chevrolet, just too soft for you, just too soft for you.
Judge us. Together we can all be strong. Yes, we can. You know, we got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Our barricade can't block our way. Oh, and all this hate, that ain't the way. Why don't you talk to me? So we can see what's going on. What's going on? 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 What's going on?
Talking to Nate Ginsburg, and Nate, I just wanted to ask you, before you take off here, can you talk to the audience about your concept of love and how you bring love to people every day?
Well, that's a great question. In my own heart, I have been, it all stems from music, and I have to be honest. I've been playing music since I was 7 years old, and singing, and it really all does stem from playing music and being joyful in that respect. Now I teach. I teach a lot. I teach almost, I teach small kids, large kids, teenagers as well. And for me to give that music back after music has given me so much, that's my you might say that's my legacy. I've added playing for sure, and like I said, when I play, I'm truly blessed. I always have a smile on my face. I'm so lucky to be able to play music for a living and give it to other people along, in instruction. And many times I hear, I'm so glad that you taught many families that I've taught the whole family, which is great. And I hear all the time, Nate, the way you play, it's so much fun to watch you and listen to you. So I think I'm the only one in my family that eventually did music for a living, and I think it really shows that I love music, and that's how I display my love.
I'd like to invite everyone who learned to play music from Nate Ginsburg, all of his students, to stand. The little ones and the big ones, as was said in the video. So remain standing. You can remain standing. So a light that bright, this bright, it doesn't get extinguished. His light lives on in you. So remain standing. I'd like to ask all of Nate's fellow musicians to stand. A light that bright doesn't get extinguished. It lives on in all of you. I'd like to invite Nate's family to stand. A light that bright doesn't get extinguished. God knows it lives on in all of you. I'd like to invite Nate's friends, anyone who is still seated, to please stand. All of you, community. A light that bright doesn't get extinguished. It lives on in all of you. And I know in my heart, just as we have all given thanks this day for Nate's life, somewhere on the other side, he is giving thanks for all of us. And he is applauding all of us. So lay a hand on yourself and say this with me: Nate's light lives on in me. turn and look at each other and say, Nate's light lives on in you. Thanks be to God for that. Now, we're not done yet. As we come to the end of today's service, we're going to offer one last prayer. This is called the prayer of commendation. And this is the prayer that we offer at the end of memorial services and celebrations of life when we commend someone's spirit to God. So I'm going to ask all of you to raise your hands like we're all together lifting Nate's spirit to God. Okay, you got to lift both hands if you can. And with our hands raised, we join our hearts in this prayer. Into your hands, most merciful God, we commend your child, Nate Ginsburg. Acknowledge, we humbly pray, a son of your very own heart, beloved by you and by all of us, a bright spirit whose light continues undimmed. Receive him now into the arms of mercy, into the blessed rest of everlasting peace, and into the company of all the saints. We pray this in all your mighty and merciful names, and all together we say amen. And you got to say it so Nate can hear you. Amen. 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 Amen.
If you're in the choir, come on right up front here.
I was standing by my window on that cold and cloudy day when I saw that bus come rolling for to take my brother away. May the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
I said to that undertaker, undertaker, please drive slow. For this gentleman you are carrying, Lord, I hate to see him go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by?
There's a better
home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
Those behind him try to hold up and be brave. My sorrow, oh my sorrow, as they laid him in the grave.
May the
circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by.
There's a
better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I went alone, lonesome, miss my brother, he was gone. Oh, my friends and family crying, what a home so sad and lone.
May the
circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by.
There's a better
home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
May the circle
be unbroken
Hi, everyone. I wanted to thank everyone for coming today to honor and celebrate Nate in this special way. It means so much to our family. It really does. Thank you to all the great musicians and everyone who spoke from their heart about Nate. Thank you to Team Nate for all your help when Nate really needed it. Robert, Kyle, Tom L., Scott, Alvaro, Kevin, Janine, and Xavier. You guys all did so much for Nate and me, and I was so grateful. Thank you, Suzi. You're the best sister and sister-in-law ever, dedicating so much time to us. Thank you, David Cox, for being there to lift Nate's spirits and the beautiful artwork. Thank you to everyone who helped make this event happen. My niece Veronica, Jordan, and Dwayne all spent countless hours and put so much love and thought into every detail. You're absolutely the best. So now the party time comes. We'll have food and beverages in the lobby and also on the mezzanine level. So there's 2 food stations. For those going over to Club Fox, the doors will open maybe a little bit later, around 7. We do have a special keepsake ornament. As many of you know, Nate had a tradition of doing an ornament for his students and friends every year. There's a tree out there displaying them, and we have a special keepsake ornament for everybody here today. And now, let's end Nate's celebration of life with a special horn section send-off. Take it away. Thank you, everyone.